You're listening to The Swingdom, the champion
Finally.
podcast of the year. 2 guys, 28 clubs, 0 putts given, with your hosts, Ben Ridner and Gunnar Kane.
We're back. We're really back.
We're back.
Who is Hudson Swafford? We don't even remember anymore.
Are they still playing the PGA Tour?
Yeah, it's in
I think
Vegas,
so.
so it's like late. They the final tee time was at 3:55 Eastern Standard Time. So I'm looking at the scores right now, and Martin Laird, who is currently in first, he's only through 7.
Oh. Well.
So they've got
what are you
another
gonna
2
do?
hours. And I just want to call it. I just want to be
Yeah,
like, Martin
we're
Laird
not-
wins. Martin Laird wins. He's up by 2
Yeah.
through 7.
We're not even worried about it.
No,
To be
no. Yeah. So welcome back to the Swingdom.
I know this is excellent.
It feels a bit strange.
Excellent.
I think
Hey,
that's why I'm trying to
okay.
figure out do I do the
Yeah,
intro
what are we
again
doing?
now? Is that how it goes?
I want you to. Can you pull up a calculator real quick?
Yeah.
So I can tell you how many miles I did.
I've got one in my brain.
When did you start your trip? The
I started
29th, right?
I started my trip I started walking on the 1st. No, on the
First. All right.
30th? No, on the Tuesday. Yeah, I started walking on Thursday the 1st.
Thursday the 1st. All right.
Yeah.
And you finished on what day?
Yeah, Tuesday I had a lesson with Matt Fryer,
Tuesday.
which I don't know if you know who
You
Matt
did.
Fryer is.
YouTube golf instructor.
Yes.
And actual golf instructor, but he's on
And
YouTube. Yes.
the coolest dude ever. So
Is he?
Yeah, we videoed a lesson with him. I got a 40-minute lesson where he was just like, You're terrible.
Oh, yes.
And I was like, I know this.
I'm
That's why
glad
here for a
somebody else
lesson.
has said it.
And then he,
That's
yeah.
right.
And then he did a 15-minute lesson with Cousin Banger. And he was just like, your swing's amazing. Just turn your hands over more and have more confidence.
Mm.
And I was like, wow, that hurts, Matt Fryer. I've been playing golf for 12 years, and all you have to say is my swing plane is wrong, and I come over the top, and that's why everything is a slice, regardless of what I call it.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Then on Wednesday, we played Silith on Solway, which is like a links course. It was such a
Right.
beautiful golf course. You look over the river at Scotland.
Yeah, I love all the pictures you sent me. And I was like,
I think I sent you one
I
picture.
was like, it almost felt like, yeah, it was like 4 pictures in total.
One of us was
And
just
it was
of my
almost
feet.
like you were rubbing it in. Yeah, and I didn't appreciate that. That was not okay.
That was the opposite of me
finished
rubbing
on a
it
Monday,
in.
right?
That was the opposite of me rubbing it in. It rained on Saturday so much, and you'll see it in the video soon, that my feet just turned to grapes, and I was afraid I was going to get trench foot. And then everybody was like, you don't get trench foot from one day in the rain. And I was like, what?
You could, I
could.
guess. You could. All right.
And then,
so I've done
we
the
started
calculations.
walking on Thursday.
Yeah, I've done the calculations, and you had to have clocked. I'll ask this because what I really like to interview you about this.
Okay.
But you did the 100 miles, 100 holes challenge.
Yes.
Okay.
A challenge I invented myself for myself. Just to be humble about it.
And you did great, and everybody's very proud of you. And it seems like the entire European golf community basically partook in this and was along the ride with you.
It was a lot of fun.
And
We raised
I
over
wanna
£1,000
say-
pounds. We raised over $1,300.
You did, and you asked me to do this challenge with you, and I am proud to say, Ben, that I clocked 12.2 miles
Yes.
alongside you.
How many holes did you play?
18.
Nice. Well, you played golf today.
And I'm gonna have more holes than you have miles for a week. That feels like a win to me.
Yes.
I could be wrong.
Yeah.
I could be wrong, but I feel your pain.
I
is
ended
what
up doing. I ended up doing like a map of it on like a pedometer thing, like through the OS maps here in England,
Right.
and it ended up being, including the golf, 118 miles.
That's what I had. That was one of my questions. I figured that the 100 miles did not include the golf mileage that you were putting in.
So it did. I just didn't realize how much golf I was going to be walking.
How much extra it was.
Yeah.
I
Oh,
absolutely love
so
it.
you have
Should
some,
we?
Yeah,
Yeah.
let's do you want to do the news, or do you want to try to ask me more questions?
Start the show. Let's start the show, and then
yeah. I
I'll
haven't
interview
really I've only followed golf a little bit over the last week and a half. So
I don't even want to talk about golf.
I have some questions for you regarding golf and regarding the PGA
Sure. How
and the
about
European Tour. But let's start the show. Let's get to it. You ready?
I'm ready.
You're listening to The Swingdom, the champion podcast of the year. 2 guys, 28 clubs, 0 putts given, with your hosts, Ben Ridner and Gunnar Kane.
Hey, what's going on, guys? Welcome to The Swingdom. My name is Ben Ridner. I did not keep a handicap while I was on this trip, so it's still an 11.5 because it surely would have gone up. I'm here with my best golfing buddy, Gunnar. His handicap, has it gone up or down?
It has not changed because our plans for the day were postponed because
Okay.
of the inclement weather that we have.
So Gunnar's still a 5.3. We both use golf clubs. Sometimes he
Mhm.
walks, mostly I walk. And then we play golf. And that's who we are as people.
As humans, we play golf.
Watch golf,
Yes.
talk golf, and we
Um,
play golf.
That's right. It's pause real quick. It sounds like your audio's out.
Does it really?
Is your mic working?
It should be.
Yeah.
Is it in the...
Yeah, I can hear that.
Hello?
Even that far away, it's that close and that far away, it all sounds the same. It's really strange.
I sound... If I do this...
Ooh, I can't hear you at all.
So if I turn it back up, now if I turn it up on the board, can you hear me now?
Beautiful.
Okay. I think
That's
it's...
it.
I think Zoom is just being a bit flickery for some reason.
It is flickery today. It looks like they've changed. They have an update that they've done.
Oh, did I not
Because now
download
we're
the
not
update
side
yet?
by side. I don't know. We're not. Are we side by side on your screen?
Yeah, I'm still side by side with you.
Oh, see, we're stacked now on Zoom on my screen. Very strange.
Okay. I haven't done
Zoom
the
is-
update yet because I just
we
got
have-
back.
That's okay. We appreciate Zoom. Big shout out to Zoom for making the Swingdom podcast possible. To be
Very
honest
possible,
with you,
yeah.
very possible. I also have another fake plug. I'd like to plug the Putt Out Pro system. You know that little ramp that you putt.
Yeah, I wanted one so bad when lockdown happened and you couldn't find them anywhere.
I found one yesterday at Walmart.
Yes.
Okay, because I'm going to throw Walmart under the bus.
Good.
Okay, I'm going to throw Walmart under the bus in a good way for me.
Okay.
I went to Walmart and I was killing some time because I was going to play poker and I had to pick up some ice, but I was like 30 minutes early. So I was just putzing around Walmart and I said, Abigail, my daughter, she's 5. She has a new bike that doesn't have a bell on it. And this story is going somewhere golf related. So
It doesn't have to. I want to hear it now.
so anyways, the bikes are over by the golf equipment. at Walmart. The
Yeah,
tees that
it's
have
all
the
in the
balls, whatever.
sports. So it's like anything sports related,
Yeah. They're
fishing
right next to each
related.
other. So
Yeah.
yeah.
So it's like
So I
health,
go.
then it's toys, then it's sports, then it's fishing, which
Sure.
is bigger than sports.
It
And then
is much.
and then you've got car parts.
Yes, and they have it's like you've been to this Walmart. So so I go in there, right?
Yeah.
And I see that they're selling the Putt Out Pro system.
Yes.
I said, "What? At Walmart?" I
How
looked down.
convenient.
It's $20.
Yeah.
I said, $20? It's not like $39 like it is at Dick's. I'm going to buy this. So anyways, I've had it since last night. I must have putted already 1,000 balls into this thing.
Yeah.
It works, ladies and gentlemen.
It's a cool thing.
And I have holes in my floor, right? Because I have a putting gallery. So I have actual golf holes.
It's full of golf art.
It's full of golf. It is. It has art.
Well,
All of our
gallery.
awards. It's a gallery. I have putters on the wall.
Do you have bleachers?
I have a bench, and it has.
The people sit on it and clap?
Yeah.
Okay.
Sometimes, occasionally. It's mostly Gavin and I who clap for each other, but
That's good.
anyways, we have this whole golf room, and I've been using this thing all day. It's quite incredible. And
Does it
and
have the hole
really
in the middle? Does it have the hole
has
in the
the
middle?
hole in the middle? Yes.
How many times have you hit the hole?
4.
Out
I've
of
made it into
1,000.
out of 1,000. My putts are not perfect, but
No,
I've
it's so hard to get it just in the hole, to get it to sit
Yes.
there.
So it's an incredible putting thing. I'm going to reach out to them because I'm such a believer in less than 24 hours. I kid you not.
I'm a believer and I don't even own it.
I kid you not that
Yeah.
this thing, I have noticed that my pace has dramatically changed.
Yeah.
And I bought it at 10:30 last night.
Wow.
Ridiculous. Like
Wow.
my pace is great right now because of this system. I'm going to reach out to them and see if they'd like to put that together in a package for once we hit 2,000 followers on
They're
Instagram.
probably already listening to us because we're such
I
big
mean,
deals.
we're big, so
Yeah.
Put Out Pro Systems. If you'd like to send us some goods that we can hand out to our listeners, because
I think they should make us like a custom 6-foot mat like they do for some other podcasts.
Oh, that'd be great because the mat looks really neat. I
Yeah.
appreciate the mat.
Yeah.
Okay, so I just got off track.
I haven't
Clearly.
noticed. I haven't noticed at all.
I've clearly gone off the rails, which was so long back. I'm surprised it took this long to really stray from the
Can
point.
Can I go off track a little bit too?
Please,
Do I look better with a hat on or without a hat on?
let me see.
Without a hat?
You look really good in general. That's your
With a hat.
jeans.
I feel like the hat like is a bit of a shadow on my face.
I like
gonna-
it. It
I'm gonna
pulls
go
the
without a
outfit
hat. Is that
together.
all
Yeah,
right?
go without today.
All right, cool.
You have that's a good. Did you get your hair cut or is
Yeah.
that just natural?
You know Soundman Dan?
I do absolutely know him.
His wife Sarah cut my hair.
She did a really good job.
Yeah, I think so too. It's starting to grow in. It looked a bit weird at the beginning because it was like so tight on the sides,
Right.
but now it looks pretty good.
Yeah, it evened out. Sound lady Sarah, thank you so much.
Sound lady Sarah. Yes. I'm gonna start calling her that. She's gonna hate it to death.
Yes. Sarah Sennett, shout out.
Yeah.
Very
Thank
nice.
you. Thank
Very
you.
good haircut. Where was I? Before
So
I
you have
talked
some-
about
You have some questions for me
Oh yes.
about
yes.
the walk. And I have some questions for you about what's
About the
happened in
golf.
the last 10 days in golf.
Okay. Why don't we save that because most of it is going to be about you. I want it mostly to be about the breakdown of this walk.
No,
We'll save for
it can't
the
all be
third-
about me. Oh no, no,
Oh,
stop it.
the light's
Oh,
too
no.
bright.
It's
Don't
too bright on
shine
my
the
face.
glamour.
I'm such
Anyways,
a humble individual.
Okay, first, I need you to break down this entire walk for us, and I want to shout out to Cousin Adam and Soundman Dan
For making
For-
it possible.
for really making it possible because we know that you're the showman in the group, but it seems we have a 4-man crew on the Swingdom now
Yeah.
officially, and
I was like too tired. Plus, I'm terrible
I
at
wish-
social media. So they just took over all the social
yeah,
media for
I
the
noticed
trip.
that. I was like, well, I have a free week. Like, what am I doing? I focused on. I watched Batman all week
Nice.
because I was like, yeah, screw it. Dan's got it.
Yeah, they did. They had a really good. I was really pleased with all of it.
right. So break down this walk. You took cousin Adam and Soundman Dan out on a charity walk to raise funds for 2 charities who are really close to this podcast, and you walked way too long and
Yes.
played not
too
enough
much.
golf.
Way too much golf.
So take it away. I'm going to sit back, listen, let the listeners take in what you did, and action.
Okay, so last Tuesday, the 29th?
Mhm.
2 Tuesdays ago?
That was the 29th.
Must have been 2 Tuesdays ago.
It was 2, yeah.
I mean, this is like, well, to be fair, like 8
been a
weeks
while.
ago. I was like,
Yes.
I want to do something fun
Yeah.
that's really gonna like help the Swingdom brand and be challenging and like give sort of the people who don't know about the Swingdom or know about the Swingdom or don't know about anything about golf, just like a little something extra to like root for.
Right.
Because people do it, like people row boats across the Atlantic.
Lame.
No golf. There's no golf involved.
No,
You know what I mean?
It's terrible.
Yeah. People try to hike like the 3 tallest peaks in England in 24 hours. That's kind of interesting, but you have to drive for most of the day to do it.
Can I pause you right there? As somebody who's from the state of Colorado, and we have the Great Rocky Mountains.
None of them are over
And-
14,000 feet.
But listen, it's always 14ers and 13ers and blah, blah, blah. And everybody's like, I'm super dope because I hike and I climb mountains. And
Yeah.
it's not as impressive to me. It's not as impressive.
So
To
and
climb mountains.
I'll get to this like a little bit. I'll get to this because I think it was like day 5 where I was. So okay, so we go have a lesson with Matt Fryer. And no wait, so 8 weeks ago I was like, I want to do something fun. I want to do something challenging. And then Dan was like, well, why don't you like involve some charities and they'll help get the word out a little bit. Like you can do something good. Like it's not just going to be like about building the channel. It's about doing something good. It's about doing something fun and interesting. And when people do fun and interesting things like this,
Mhm.
like it's good to bring awareness. I was looking for the word, but it's good to bring awareness to things that we care about. So Rowcroft Hospice really like helped Dan out when both of his parents were poorly. And the Golf Foundation is just like I think it's a foundation we may even start working with a lot because their goals are to bring kids into golf, help them stay into golf, and then connect golf to life skills.
Yeah.
And they're actually one of the first foundations who are trying to make an actual connection between mental health and outdoor physical activity, specifically with golf, which I know both of us have made that connection. That's why we do this podcast. You know, and I was talking to Vanessa, who's head of fundraising there, and she was like, it's really important that like when kids go to play golf, they're confident in that they're going to have fun and go out there and play golf no matter what. And I said to her, like, not only that, like you're building confidence in helping kids go to new places and try new things.
Right.
Like, it's not about just getting the kids to like feel confident enough to hit a golf ball. It's about getting the kids to feel confident enough to want to get into their parents' cars and go somewhere new. And I think that you and Gavin and myself and sort of my mental health awareness, I think we're going to end up doing a lot of good things with the Golf Foundation over time. I just think it's an easy match for us.
Oh, absolutely. And, you know, they're partners with Tyrrell Hatton, who just won the BMW PGA Championship.
So question. Now, can I ask you a question before I rant on?
Yes.
He wore a hoodie?
Yes.
Why? And people got mad about this?
Who cares? Look, remember when Phil Mickelson wore his button-down shirt and everybody had a fit? You remember when Justin Thomas wore a tie and everybody threw a fit?
Yeah.
Get off of it.
Remember when Ricky Fowler wore joggers and high tops?
You remember when Ricky Fowler wore joggers? Keegan Bradley came out in Air Jordans? Who cares?
Okay.
Jesus.
Okay. I just wanted to make sure we were on the same page. I was just sort of like, this is like he's still wearing his sponsor's clothes and hat.
Yeah.
Like I'm cool with it no matter what. He's having fun. He's doing the right thing.
Yeah. Who cares? Speaking of the Golf Foundation,
Yes.
they're right. Big congratulations to Ben Ridner and the guys at the Swingdom Podcast. Ben, Cousin Adam, and Soundman Dan finished the 100-mile tough hike along Hadrian's Wall and played 100 holes at some great local courses near the wall. Charity donations given by friends old and new will be shared between excellent Ropecroft Hospice in Devon and our charity, the Golf Foundation. Please donate. Well done, lads. They look tired, but happy, and we hear the locals, loved them.
Yes,
that's a big shout out from the Golf Foundation there.
That was
you guys did a great thing here.
That was really cool because I think the locals were the biggest part. So day one, we start on Bowness and Solway in this little shed. It said Hadrian's Wall. It's on the Instagram. It's essentially like where the wall would have started, or where the path would have started that would have, sort of segregated England from Scotland. And it's a 16.5-mile walk into Carlisle.
Mm-hmm.
So the first sort of 10 miles are like along roads and sort of farmers, like ruddy tracks. And then we have to go through a few fields. And all of a sudden I figure out that I actually have to like lift my trolley and my golf clubs over gates.
Yes. Over some gates. We did.
I totally forgot that this is going to be a thing. So we end up doing that.
This is a real hike.
Yeah. And like a lot of it was on flat roads, which was nice. You know how when you go hiking because you live near Shenandoah or because you lived in Denver, like you expect
because I go hiking. Continue. Yes.
Okay. But like you expect it to sort of be like trails through the woods.
Yes.
Like that's not how it is in England. In England, it's sort of like however you get to village using either roads or public footpaths or like World Heritage footpaths like the Hadrian's Wall is. Like that's sort of how you get around. So you're walking through fields with sheep and cows in them.
Oh.
Like you're walking
just through property, yeah.
Yeah, you're walking through people's gardens.
Oh,
like
very
you're walking
nice.
through farmers'
now for
fields.
our American listeners,
yeah.
Hadrian's Wall is 100% in England.
Yes.
All of Hadrian's Wall is in England.
Was in the year 140 AD, built, designed and built by Hadrian Augustus,
Roman
emperor. Sorry, yeah, which is why his last name is, which is why his surname, his family name is Augustus. It was built in the year 140. They built it from the River Tyne all the way to Bowness on Solway. In a lot of places, it was sort of like packed turf, mud, and ditches. But along the crags of Walltown to basically the beginning of the River Tyne, like estuary, where it sort of starts connecting to the ocean. And it was the border between what was then Roman Britain and the Scots and the barbarian cultures of Northern United Kingdom, which is how the Romans phrased it. But to everybody else, they're just known as the Scots.
Right. Right.
So, and then basically over the last 2,000 years, whatever was made from stone was robbed and used to build castles and houses and fences. So there's not a whole lot of it left. There's of the 84 Roman miles or 75 miles as we know them, there's only about 30 miles of it left. So we walked
Wow.
the first day just sort of going, is that a wall? No, that's a fence. Is that a wall? No, that's a ditch. Is that a wall? That could be some wall, but we're not really sure. And then we walked through some lovely villages, got a coffee at a pub next to where King Edward the First was buried.
Wow.
So, and this is the thing that's going to sound weird about hiking in England, but most people we saw who were hiking Hadrian's Wall, they don't have a tent. They don't have multiple days of clothes. What they usually are doing, they're doing one of two things. They're either hiking from one pub or B&B to the next pub and B&B they've booked, or what they're doing is they're driving to where they want to end that day and taking a bus back to where they start.
Huh.
So like the fact that like me and cousin Adam had tents and actually camped out was quite rare because we didn't see anybody else with tents.
Huh. Now, I would assume that a lot of major historical things have happened along this trail, if you will, I guess. Because, yeah, and correct me if I'm wrong, England's pretty small of a country. So when you think about major historical, English events,
Yeah.
it's fair to say that they're pretty clumped together by location, right? Because I'm looking here, the population and the size of England is significantly less than it is here in the U.S. And as a matter of fact, it looks like there's 6 times the people in the U.S. than there is in England.
I think it's 10. I think there's 650 million people in the U.S. And there's about
it says here 55 million. Oh yeah, I guess that's more than 10. I think
it's about 65, and then I think it's basically 10 to 1.
More than 10 times.
Yes. Yeah. I think the thing is that there's so much in the Dark Ages of England that you can sort of forget about because the Romans were in England so the Romans were an imperialistic culture. Like they wanted to take over the world. They wanted to rule everything. They had built these massive armies. These armies then captured civilizations, took them on as slaves, and basically ran these civilizations as I don't want to say elaborate, but basically as like military leader dictatorships.
Mm-hmm.
And so the Romans came to England in the early part of the 1st century. I want to say sort of between like 40 and 60 AD.
Mm-hmm.
And they came in through the White Cliffs of Dover, which is basically the shortest point between what is now France and England. I think they actually went a little bit north of that to, I think it was Newport, between Newport and Newcastle, and that's where they actually found refuge on the island, because I think the White Cliffs of Dover were such a good defense system that the Romans couldn't actually, just climb the cliffs and fight the brave warriors that the Britons were.
Is it Britons or Brit?
It's pronounced Britons. I just said Britons. It's pronounced Britons, but it's
I like that.
Britons.
Sometimes you say things, and now you have a British flair.
You're welcome.
To you.
But the Romans were only in the UK till around the year 400 AD. They were only here for about 350 years.
Only.
The thing is if you think that people have been occupying this island for 200,000 years.
Mm-hmm.
400 of that is quite short. And I think that people sort of go, okay, like there's Roman history, then you sort of get to early medieval history, which is sort of like early, I want to say like early Tudor, but even pre-Tudor history.
Mm-hmm.
And that's like, I want to say like, I'm not 100% sure. I'm just sort of making some of this up, but that's like 14, 15, 1600s when you start seeing written history again. Now this,
Well,
the strange thing is that like the Romans had villas, they had underfloor heating, they had running water, they had internal toilets.
They're ballers.
They were ballers, and then they had the written language, they had churches, they had places of prayer, they had sacrifices, they had all of the things that we sort of have in modern culture, and then that disappeared for 1600 years. That disappeared for about 1,000 years.
Whenever you talk about the written language of the Romans, it always makes me think of The Life of Brian. I don't know if you've ever seen that from Monty Python.
Monty Python, yes.
Where
it's just Latin. I mean, like, I know I'm sort of like, but it's Latin.
It's Latin. But John Cleese, his character as a Roman guard, makes the guy. He comes in. I think it's Brian actually in the movie. He goes and he graffitis the Colosseum. And John Cleese's character makes him correct all his grammar mistakes.
Yes, yeah. Because that's, to be fair, I think like most like Latin was a language I could learn in middle school.
Yes.
And if you go to a Catholic school like my wife Isadora did, like you have to learn Latin.
Right, because you're going to be a doctor.
Or because you have to read the Bible in its original text.
Right.
Something like that. Yeah.
One or the other.
So it was really cool. I mean, like we saw a decent amount of the wall.
Mm-hmm. It's very cool. I appreciate the some of the Instagram live stories that you
wonderful
put out.
History lessons
that you gave. They were history lessons, but you were giving sort of a tour of the encampments and the wall. And I thought that was really an important piece to this.
I think it was Harrow's Scar. I did that, and I was just sort of like, this is really cool.
And it was really cool, and I think a lot of our followers appreciated that.
Yeah, because I like to think of myself. I sort of started the journey as Ben the golfer, and I'd like to think that I finished the journey as Hadrian's caddy.
Yes, absolutely.
If Hadrian ever wanted to play golf along the wall,
you'd be his caddy.
I'd be his caddy.
That's right. What was really cool is we talk a lot that I'm in the U.S. and you're in England, and that resonates for some, and for others it doesn't.
Yeah.
As a matter of fact, even for me, it doesn't resonate that you're in an entire different continent than I am.
Yeah, it doesn't feel like 3,000 miles of ocean. Right.
And so when you give this history of the place that you are, it's almost like if I were to do a Instagram live tour playing golf along the Civil War Trail.
Yeah.
Here, and that's where I live. I live on the right on top of Civil War battlegrounds.
Yeah.
For the United States. It really brings up like, oh wow, you really are in a different place, and there's a whole nother world out there. And I think that's really important for our listeners. I mean, and to tie it to golf is super special.
I think the cool thing about Hadrian's Wall is that I think it's a different world for a lot of English people as well.
Oh wow.
Because it's so out of the way.
Mm-hmm.
It's considered, it very much is the farthest northern reaches of England you can go to that not a lot of people go to. When you travel in America, you tend to travel south. I think it's the same in England. Most people vacation in the south, not the north.
Mm-hmm.
And I think the thing is that not a whole lot of people walk the whole thing. I think they sort of go into the museums and take in a bit of the history and see the relics and the artifacts, but it doesn't have any relation to modern Britain times.
Well, what's also interesting about this is that you're talking about thousands of years of history.
Yeah.
When you talk about Hadrian's Wall.
Yeah.
And as an American, okay, our Constitution wasn't even written 300 years ago.
No, I was like, the old course at St. Andrews was built 60 years before, before the North American continent was founded by Christopher Columbus.
Right. And so so when you talk about, this was, 100 AD, like we our history starts in the
Yeah.
1700s, the 1600s. And so I think it's really, it sounds like that bit of history for the English people might get lost because it's so old. And for us as the United States, we couldn't fathom having that deep of a history without having to cross over into an entirely different subtext of indigenous people and Native Americans, and before us Eastern Europeans even showed up. You know?
Yeah.
I think it's fascinating. I really do. I've been so happy and so impressed with this entire journey you've been on.
It's been really cool.
I can't, and I know.
Yeah. Stop it. No, you stop it. No, you stop it.
No, you stop it.
It was
fun.
You
stop saying nice things to me.
It was so much fun. I thought it was going to be hard. I don't think I knew how hard it was going to be. We walked 16 miles to Carlisle to Stony Home Golf Course, which is like a municipal course. The manager there gave us free greens fees because we were doing it for charity.
Good for them.
And guess what else they let us do? They let us pitch our tents on the golf course.
No.
Yes. So we got to pitch our tents between the 9th tee and the 5th tee on one of those little, like, this is how we get the greens mowers, like, through without disturbing everybody.
Right.
So that was really cool. We woke up the next week. So we walked 16 miles. Then we played 10 holes of golf. I could not feel anything below my waist. And then we went to sleep and it was like 50 degrees. And we woke up and it was like 30 degrees.
Fahrenheit?
Fahrenheit. So it was like -1 and there was frost on the ground in
Wow.
England. And I just woke up and I was like, I don't ever want to go camping again. This is a nightmare. Why is it so cold? Why couldn't I get warm at all? This was miserable. But we woke up the next morning. We played the next 8 holes. And then we walked to Eden Golf Course, which was lovely, but it was so hard. It was so hard. And I don't know if this is going to sound right or wrong, but I feel like there's a difference between English parkland courses and American parkland courses. And I felt like Eden, and then I also played Close House, were just like very, very good British versions of American parkland courses.
Now, is Close House, that's the Lee Westwood course?
That's the Lee Westwood. That's where we played the Colt course, which is where they held the British Masters this year. Which Lee Westwood, Rory McIlroy, Ian Poulter, Terrell Hatton, all those guys got out there and played. I told cousin Adam on the first tee, I was like, Rory McIlroy hit the ball from 10 yards behind us. And I think his legs started shaking. I think he was so, because he's only been playing golf for 5 months, and his legs just started shaking. He was just like, and then he duffed it off the tee. He just grounded the club and put the ball like just off the front of the tee box. And he was like, well, that's a good start, which is, I think, what most people would do. So, you okay?
Yeah, did you see that?
Yeah, of course I saw that.
Did you see like the lights go down?
Yeah, somebody out there messing with the lights.
Yeah, it's happening again. I think we're getting ready to lose power.
Oh no. So yes, we played 9 holes. We played 9 holes.
I won't because of the internet, but yeah. You played 9 holes.
We played 9 holes at Eden Golf Course. It was beautiful. It was so hard. What's going on there?
This has to be very distracting.
It's a little bit,
for the listeners who aren't watching on the YouTube.
Yeah.
The lights in this room keep going way down.
Yeah, brownouts.
We're in the middle of a storm. Yeah, we're having brownouts for sure. We're in the middle of a storm, and we're not so sure if we're going to make it through this entire podcast now because this is the 4th time that it's tried to cut the power out on us.
Okay.
But we will go as long as possible. Ben will
Yes.
finish this podcast up, or we will pick it up tomorrow
yeah.
morning, which will be October 12th of
Yeah.
2020.
So I'm trying to think like what Eden. So like Eden Golf Course reminded me of like Stonewall Jackson without the houses.
Oh, well, I like Stonewall Jackson. So
Yeah. It
it's a
really
very
reminded me of
beautiful.
Stonewall Jackson without the houses.
Makes sense.
Yeah, it was just really big and wide open. You could have put houses between just about anything you wanted to out there, but the thing they did that was really annoying mostly was that they just grew all the grass to like 18 inches.
Oh no.
So there was no, it was like fairway, first cut,
Mm-hmm.
your ball was gone forever.
Oh no.
And like we only went out with like 6 balls each, and we almost didn't make it through the 9.
That's so tough.
It was so tough. Well, especially because we walked 8 miles from Stony Home to Eden, played 9 holes up and down a hill. It was so this is the thing about this golf course, right? It was probably the prettiest golf course we played. It and Close House are probably the 2 prettiest golf courses we played in terms of like standard golf courses that you would see like the PGA Tour or the LPGA, or like what you would see is like the standard definition of a playable golf course.
Right.
But somehow this golf course just managed to like break your mind and spirit before you even got on the tee box. So you got on the first tee, and it was 220 yards over a pond.
Oh.
So it's like it was like 170 to a pond on the left-hand side of the fairway, but the fairway goes from about 50 yards wide to about, it comes over to the right side because the pond comes in at like 170 yards. It gets to like 10 yards. No, it's the 10th at South Wales.
Yes.
So it's like that, where it's like 220, and if you want to, you can take your driver over it. But the way it works is like there's a bridge in the middle, there's a pond, and then a creek goes through it. And so there's a creek up the whole right side. So if you're short left, you're in the water. If you're long right, you're in the water. So there's nowhere safe. And you know what was even more messed up? Is that in front of it, like at 150 yards, there's a 5-foot mound that goes across the entire fairway.
Oh.
So all you can see is this mound at 150 yards. And if you've never played it before, you're just like, I have no idea what is happening.
Right.
Like the 7th hole was a par 3. It was a 165-yard par 3. And you're on one side of the hill. And then there's like a 30-yard drop. And you go all the way down, and then you come all the way back up. And there's a little bit of fairway, but like it's really just neck. You know what I mean? It's just really just like the neck of the green. And then there's the green. And it goes around. So then like if you're right of it, it drops 35 yards and is in a pond. And if you go left, you're on the other tee box or in the woods to the left.
Fantastic.
But you know what's even harder? Is that the green is still 15 feet above you. So it's a blind shot uphill, even though you're looking down on the rest of the valley.
That's terrible. That is so frustrating.
So as like a first-time player, it just felt like they designed it so every shot felt like a blind shot, which was just really hard. Like most of the times when you play a golf course, the risk reward is sort of like 30-70. You're sort of like, okay, like 30, like if I need to, I have a 30% chance of making this risk shot. But if I don't want to, I still have a 70% chance of playing this hole safe and getting out with a bogey. Like that's how I feel about it, right? Like it's either I risk it and get like a birdie or a par. Like if I risk it and I get like a birdie, if I go for the safe shot, it's sort of like par bogey. But with
Mhm.
the risk shot, I can always like double or triple, come out with like an 8 or a 9 by accident.
Sure.
And I just felt like on this course, it
Mhm.
was like 10% 90.
Wow.
Like if you wanted to take a risky shot, you only had a 10% chance of making it just because the course was so hard to dial in your mind. You would have
Mhm.
loved this course. Like this, if of all the courses I played, including Close House, I was like, I want to bring Gunnar here because I want to see how his mind would work around this golf course.
I would love to play every single one of those courses, but that does sound. I love a course that is a test,
Yeah,
and
because there was like
I.
440. It was like 440-yard par fours
Mhm.
into the wind uphill. So they played like 500, and you're just like, no. Okay, it was more like 380, and they played like
Uh-huh.
450, and you're just like, this isn't fun. This isn't fair.
It is something enjoyable yet frustrating about having to take like a hybrid into your approach, or taking a 3-wood as your approach shot
Yeah,
over
yeah,
bomb and gouge and
Yeah.
and driver wedge
yeah.
or driver mid iron.
Mm-hmm.
I really like the idea of having to hold a green with a hybrid or a 3-wood.
I don't.
That's my kind of I like that.
I like trying to hold the green with like a 7-iron or an 8-iron.
Oh, okay, right.
Like 170 to 200 out. Like that's a real test for me. Like holding
Mhm.
a green from 220 or 230,
Mm-hmm.
no.
I like the idea of having to chip and putt for par.
I
like
love that. Don't
I
get me wrong.
kinda
I
like
love
that.
that. I've gotten so good with my 60-degree wedge and I absolutely love that. Don't get me wrong. But
Mhm.
what I don't like is playing for like proximity to the green, not playing to the green.
Oh, right.
So that
No,
was hard for me.
when I come out there, we'll play there. I like that. I
Yeah,
like that idea.
yeah. So then we walked from there 4 miles to our campsite.
Mm-hmm.
We camped overnight. We got up at 7 o'clock in the morning with a 15-mile hike,
Mm-hmm.
and it just poured with rain.
That's right. You posted quite a bit about the rain.
Yes,
I like that.
that's where I live streamed the most because I was just falling over constantly. And we didn't get to Halt Whistle, which was like, again, like the municipal courses that cost 20 quid
Mm-hmm.
were not half as good. Like they were better than half as good as the courses that cost 40 quid.
Wow.
Like, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah. No, I totally know what you're saying.
Like when you go to like a $15 course in the States, and then you go to like a $50 course in the States, it's like,
you can tell the difference.
yeah, yeah. Like with these courses, you can tell the difference like a little bit in maintenance,
Mm-hmm.
but the experience you got was the same.
That's awesome.
Yeah. So Halt Whistle, you're like on top of this hill overlooking like Hadrian's Wall for 15 miles.
Wow.
And they have double greens. So like 2 and 17 share a green.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like, please don't hit your approach shot until they've gotten off the green.
Right.
And there was a few of those, and it was fun. But we got there so late, and it was raining so hard, we only played 5 holes because I was either falling over or swimming.
Mm-hmm.
And then we stayed at Hadrian's Holiday Cottages, which are like these little pods, which are like as big as this room. But it's got 2 beds and a bathroom, and they were immaculate. And Nigel and Catherine, who were running the B&B, I guess it was their place. Like it was amazing. It was the most comfortable I could have been. They had the best breakfast. It was incredible. So we slept really well that night, out of the rain, in a warm place. That's when I sent you a picture of my feet.
Yes.
Because my feet were so gross and trenched out and disgusting.
You didn't have to, by the way.
No, I had to.
For future reference, you don't have to do something like that.
I was afraid they were going to fall off. I wanted you to say goodbye because I was afraid this was the
Oh.
last time I was going to see my feet.
And I said gross.
Yeah,
So
I think
same
everybody
thing.
did that. Everybody's just like, it felt really gross. Like I couldn't move my feet for 2 days. I was just sort of like
Hobbling.
dum, dum, dum. Oh, I was hobbled most of this trip. My knee went after like day 2. Oh, I hobbled most of this trip.
Uh-huh.
And then on day 4, we woke up, we played hole 6, 7, and then because 17 and 18 went back to the car, we played 17 and 18.
Okay.
So we got our 9 holes in.
Mhm.
So at this point, that's 36 holes. And then we had to walk what I thought was going to be 22 to 24 miles to Matt Fenn Hall Hotel and Golf Resort.
Mm-hmm.
Turned out it was 30
Mm-hmm.
because the map, I was using Google Maps and it doesn't do elevation.
Right.
It just does straight line. So that day there was 5 miles in elevation change that Google didn't account for.
Oh, right.
So that was the day where you saw me carrying my buggy and golf bag up and down stairs for 15 miles.
That's crazy.
That was impossible. That was the worst. That was the best day because you got all the views. You spent the entire day next to the wall. Like there were the most people out there. People donated, I think, like 35 pounds while we were walking. They're like, "Oh, why are you walking with a golf bag?" And some people were just like, "Oh, you're far from the fairway." And I was just like, "No, I lost a golf ball out here." Have you seen? What are you doing out here with a golf bag? Have you seen my golf ball? It's this big. It's white. It's got number 4 on it. I can't find it. Or they just be like, "What?" And I'd be like, "Should I use a 6-iron? What do you think the distance is?" And they were like, "Okay, all right." And I was like, "No, we're doing it for charity. If you want to, here's some stickers. Donate on the website." And they were like, "Well, I've got £5 now," so they'd give us £5. And it was incredible. But I didn't realize we weren't going to make it to Matt Fenn Hall that night. So I thought we were going to camp out somewhere, but we were still 5 miles short of camping out at 8 o'clock at night. So this is when we got a little worried. Luckily, Nigel at Hadrian's Holiday Lodge said we could stay the extra night if we wanted to. And we were sort of like, well, we're not sure we're going to need to, but we definitely needed to. So I let him know around lunchtime that we were probably going to get back to him. He was so amazing, so hospitable, caring, felt like I was one of his own, fed us delicious breakfasts. If you go to Halt Whistle Golf, if we go to Halt Whistle Golf Course, we're just going to stay there again. Because it was so nice. So nice.
Good.
It was so nice. And then the next day we woke up, Dan dropped us off where we got picked up from the night before in the pitch dark. I think that's when Adam got the most fed up with me because every time there was a hill, I was like, this is the last hill, and then we're going to be there. And he was just like, shut up. Mm-hmm. You've said that this is not the last hill. Stop saying this is the last hill. I think the thing that sort of like bothered me the most about the entire trip was that like it's people's farmland and they don't fence it off. So like we were walking through and there's just like cows knocking over the wall. I was just like, what do you like? This is 1,500 years old, and you're just scratching your butt on the wall. Let's put a fence here. What are you doing? So
fences are expensive.
They were just animals the whole time. Like you can't get away from the sheep or the cows because it's just somebody's farmland you're walking through. That's just the way it is.
Right.
So Dan dropped us off. We walked 15 miles to Matt Fenn. We had to get there before 4:30 because we had a 4:30 tee time. So we hustled. We got there. We got changed. We played 9 holes. You play golf on this course, and every time you turn around, they've like put a gap in the tree so you can see this beautiful, massive, like old English hall that's been there for generations upon generations. And it's just beautiful. It's fun. It wasn't the hardest course in the world, which is nice because it's a resort. But it felt like an English resort course. We stayed there that night. We woke up the next day. That was our rest day. Guess what we did?
What?
because we didn't play 18 holes at Halt Whistle like we were planning to. We had to fit in 9 more holes somewhere else. So we
So you
played,
played 27 holes?
we played 18 holes at Matt Fend. They have 3 9-hole courses, plus a driving range, plus a par 3 course.
Wow.
And it's just in like the most beautiful Northumbrian scenery. Northumberland.
Mm,
And it's
mhm.
just amazing. It was just like, it was a peaceful, windy, beautiful day in northern England where you just get to play golf with your mates and have a blast and do it all right. You know what I mean? Like, how often do you play 9 holes
Yeah.
of golf and then spend 2 hours eating lunch
Not often. Not often.
and then go back out for the next 9?
Maybe once or twice I've done that.
But it's nice.
That's really cool.
That's the fun bit. Woke up the next day. We had to walk 8 miles to Close House.
Mhm.
And Close House was like up and down the side of a mountain, it felt like. So I was like, okay, like it's not
Sure.
that bad. It's only 8 miles. Turned out it was 10 miles. That was not
Mhm.
fun. And then we get there and it's a hard course to walk. Have you been to Creighton
bet.
Farms?
No, I have not been to Creighton Farms.
So it reminded me of it. It reminded me of like TPC Avenel or
no,
like
I've been there.
RTJ or I mean, it really
I've
reminded
been
me the
there.
most of Creighton, which I'm sure you and Gavin will get to go to
Avenel and-
soon.
Eventually, yes.
But
I'm
it
sure.
wasn't like a British links course. It was just like, it just felt like an American course on a hill,
Mm-hmm.
and it was tough. Remember, we played every course from the yellows because I was like, I'm not going to the tips. I can't do this.
Right.
I can't feel my legs. I don't want to do this. It'll only make me angry. Like, I'm not doing it.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not doing it. So we played from the yellows, and I shot an 89.
Wow.
I birdied 17, a par
and
5.
You said you were frustrated with that, and I told you, given the circumstances, that's a really good score.
Yeah. I was hoping to sort of like shoot around my handicap once, but
Mm-hmm.
like I couldn't feel my ankles.
Well, when you add all the walking in, it's okay.
Yeah.
Nobody's blaming you.
I was so tired from walking after like the 3rd day. Not even after the first night of sleeping outside and getting back up to play more golf. Like, I lost 2 club lengths.
Oh no.
Like, I was hitting my 8-iron 150 yards.
That's pretty close to what I do.
I was hitting my gap
I'm a-
wedge. Okay, let me put it this way. I was hitting my 50-degree wedge,
Uh-huh.
95 yards.
Oh, that's terrible.
Yeah. Yeah.
My
that's-
my gapping is really good, so I'm okay with my 8-iron going 150, but when you take the gap wedge and it doesn't even go 100 yards, that is tough.
I couldn't hit my 60-degree more than 60 yards. Like, it just wasn't going. I was like 75 yards out, and I was like, oh, I'm gonna have to, like, this is a strong sand wedge.
This is a full shot.
Yeah, I was so beat. Like, I normally hit my the reason I was saying is like I normally hit my 8-iron 165, and I was struggling to hit it like 150. I was like 145. That's an 8-iron.
Yeah. That's so tough.
Yeah, like how far do you hit your pitching wedge?
I hit my pitching wedge goes about 140.
Yeah. Okay, so this is
when
then
I'm
better.
really in sync, I have pretty close gapping to what you have.
Yeah.
My 8's about 160, 165. My pitching wedge, I can usually get a hold of it regardless of how I'm swinging that day.
Yes.
So I'm I'm between 145, 135.
Yeah.
But I always have that safe range, you know?
Yeah. So like my pitching wedge is like comfortably one. Like if I'm choking up and I'm trying to get it close, I'm like 130 to 145.
Mm-hmm.
But usually it's like 135 is my perfect distance.
Uh-huh. Yeah,
I was
nice,
like-
easy, soft swing, yeah.
Yeah, I was like 115. You can do this, Ben. You don't
got it.
have to get out your 9-iron. You can do 115 with this pitching wedge.
Yeah, on a normal day, that's a little clip for the pitching wedge.
Like I was happy if I
Yeah.
hit my driver 200.
Your distances were so off.
They were so off. So yeah, they were just off. They were miserably off. But Close House was gorgeous. They were so nice to us. The marshal came out and asked us how we were doing, knew who we were, thanked us for doing what we were doing, and just sent us on our way. We had an absolute blast.
Good.
We slept at a campsite, then we walked 16 miles through Newcastle.
Mhm.
If you ever get the chance to go to Newcastle, just don't.
Don't?
I mean, you can if you want to stay in the city. If
It's
you want to go
just
see like a football game. By
Right.
football, I mean soccer, but yeah,
Soccer.
football game. But it was just, I don't know if it was probably just because it was like a Thursday and it was a bit eerie and quiet and everybody wasn't like really around. But it didn't feel like a lot of people really took pride in how the city was perceived.
Mm.
Like, you know what I mean? Like there was a lot of these, like this footpath we were on that was just like covered in garbage on either side.
Oh, that's terrible.
And it could have just been like the part of Newcastle we were in, because by the time we got to the center of it, it was fine. But then when we got sort of out to the other side, again, it was just like graffiti and tires and things like that. So all I'm saying is that like if you're gonna do this 100 miles, 100 holes challenge,
Mm-hmm.
I wouldn't start in Newcastle. I would finish in Newcastle. If I was just doing it for fun and it didn't matter how many miles or holes I was doing, I would just start at Close House or finish at Close House.
Mm.
But we made it to Centurion Golf Course at Walls End. It's kind of cool. It's like a Roman themed golf course.
Huh.
Like all of the holes had like names of like the Roman forts around it. It's a picture of Hadrian on the T signs. And it was a fun muni for 20 quid each. It was a bit on the expensive side, but
Bit on the expensive side. I love that 20 quid is expensive now that you've been acclimated to European golf.
well, we got to Holt Whistle and it was 15 pounds for 18 holes.
Well, like $40 here is pretty cheap for a golf course.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I think with the cart, you're still looking at like an extra 15 pounds. If you're walking, $25 for 18 holes is like the lowest you'll find.
I like that.
But the gauntlet where you were going to today, or South Wales, or Prince William, they're all around like 20, 25 pounds, $25 if you don't have a cart.
No, they're more like $60.
Not on a Tuesday afternoon.
Yeah. You got to play at about 4 p.m. and you only get to play 9 holes for 20 bucks.
No.
Yes. You haven't been here in so long. Everybody's
Everybody's golf.
jacked their prices up.
Have they really?
Yeah.
Oh,
It's
no.
about, I remember in the summertime at Prince William Golf Club, which is a beautiful course. You and I play there.
And it was $35 with a buggy each, which means it was like 20 for golf and 15 for a cart.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. We
Is
were-
Meadow Farm super expensive now?
Meadows Farms is about $60 for 18 holes.
On a Tuesday before noon?
It's $55.
Or is this like on a Saturday?
No, that's Saturday. It's about $60. On a Friday, it's about $45.50, depending on who's working.
This is not fun. I do not like this.
East Coast U.S. golf is pretty pricey. I just
Yeah,
think
it is.
So I've played $100 rounds. I've
Yeah.
played $15 rounds.
I haven't played $100 rounds. The most I've ever played is like $60 rounds.
You and I should go to Raspberry Falls, and we'll play $120 round of golf.
You paying for it?
Although it's beautiful. No, our sponsors will pay for that. We have to
Oh,
do
wow,
a show.
it has gone up.
I'm telling you.
No, I mean, you could still get I guess, I don't know if this is like yeah. It's gone up. It's gone up by about $10 since the last time I played there. That's not cool, Meadow Farms. That's not cool, South Wales. Oh yeah, so we went to Halt Whistle, right? And I put in it's an honesty box golf course.
Yes.
So
I've
there's
played
just like
an honesty box.
there's a door, and in the door is like a letter.
Yeah,
like,
and you slip your
like,
money in, or you slip your
throw in a
credit
bunch of
card
coins.
information in. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, we get there the next day, and the marshal's there, and he's like, "Well, have you paid?" And I was like, "Well, I paid full price. I paid £15 for 18 holes, but we're only going to be able to play 9." And he was like, "Well, why?" I was like, "Well, really, we're only going to be able to play 4 today because we've got to walk halfway to Matt Fenn." And he was like, "What do you?" And so he talked to Dan while we were out playing golf, and Dan was like, "Yeah, they're doing like a charity golf thing, and this, that, and the other." He gave Dan our money back. And then he gave us £20 for charity.
There you go.
It was just like, I was just humbled by the entire experience of like people saying, "Oh, you're having fun doing something for charity. Well, we want to support that because charities are good and fun things should be fun as long as you're doing good for somebody."
You know, I saw somebody had commented on one of your posts, on one of our posts. It was yours, but I'm going to say ours because
that's fine.
You know, whatever.
No, we're a team.
But
it's all ours.
So they said, "I saw you guys out there, yada yada yada." So
Yeah.
I responded, and I know you guys were in the middle of the hike, and I responded. I said, "That's awesome. We really appreciate your support. Stop off it," and I gave him the link and whatever. And he wrote back and he said, "Yeah, I definitely will. I had a $5 on me though, so I slipped it to him on the walk." And I thought that was just so cool to just
some random guy gave us a 20.
$5 make $5 20. It makes a difference.
We were walking to Halt Whistle, and we walked past this lady walking her dog, and she's like, "What are you doing with your golf clubs?" And I was like,
"With the Rottweiler, right?"
"Yeah, a lady with a Rottweiler." And I was just like,
a Rottweiler.
I was like, "Well, I'm doing a charity walk." And she's like, "Well, my husband plays golf, and my cousin owns Eden Golf Course." And I was like, "We just played Eden Golf Course." And she was like, "Did you have fun?" I was like, "Yeah, it was amazing. It was challenging. It nearly killed us, but it's a beautiful golf course." And she was like, "Yeah, I'll donate when I get home. I don't have any cash on me." And she did. She just donated as girl with Rottweiler.
Yep. Well done, boys.
It was fun.
Yeah,
it was fun. We did the whole thing. It was 117 miles, including the golf. You want to do some math real quick?
Well, before we do math, I'm going to just give a shout out to Girl with a Rottweiler, Dave and Deb Smith.
Yes.
Spot and Leslie, Margaret Anderson, Charlie and Al, Susan Bloor, Shelby Ford, Angie, Chris Sennett, Simon, Karen and Dave, Bree or Bry, B-R-Y,
Brian,
Chris, Nikki, Rachel, Mandy Bowater, Jay Combs. Like, thank you guys so much. Like, and I wasn't on this walk, and I don't deserve any of the accolades or credit for the good things that Ben and cousin Adam and Soundman Dan did for Roadcroft Hospice and the Golf Foundation. But from the bottom of my heart, I really do appreciate everybody pulling out of their wallets and helping out these foundations, because with the typical charity, Ben and Adam and Dan would have been reimbursed for their expenses, and then the remainder would have gone to charity. These guys poured money out of their own pockets to go on a
We're not going to talk about how much.
As buds. and every dollar that you spent towards the charity goes directly to the charities. It's a 100% goes to the Golf Foundation around Rowcroft Hospice. So big shout out. Anybody who listens to this, please pass it on.
Yeah. And if anybody else wants to donate, the
any
page
little bit helps.
The page is going to be open until the first of next year. So we're still going to be promoting the donation page.
Yeah, we're going to keep it up on our Instagram. That's, you only get one link on Instagram. We're not going to put up our iTunes link. We're going to keep the donation page up until 2021. So please stop by and donate.
Give what
$2,
you can.
$1, whatever.
Everything helps. I think that's sort of, if you give 2 cents, that's still 1 more cent than either nonprofit had before.
That's right.
Right? I don't know. That sounds right.
That's right. You're
But
splitting it.
I think we're going to start planning the next one soon.
Very cool.
It might be the Civil War trail, like you said.
It actually got me thinking, like, I should do this, and I should walk the Civil War trail.
It took me like
I have summers off. I should do this.
This is day 3, and I still can't feel my left knee. So I'm pretty sure I'm going to go get an MRI on my left knee, just for fun, just to make sure it's okay. But I had an absolute blast. I've got to figure out the whole score that I have. I think I'm actually forgetting my 9 holes from Halt Whistle at the moment, but I'm gonna go figure those out. What do you have any questions?
Yeah, so I have 3 questions.
Yes,
3 questions. We'll do a read, and then we'll talk about actual golf.
Okay.
My first question is, what was the hardest part of this? I guess I have 4 because this is kind of a branching question, but what was the hardest part of this entire journey?
So the thing I enjoyed the most was just sort of knowing that I had to wake up in the morning and all I had to do was walk and golf. I think the hardest thing was trying not to look at the mileage. Trying not to go, okay, it's been an hour, I've done 2 miles, I have to do another 14 miles in 7 hours, I've got 8 hours of walking, because my brain works in a mathematical way.
Right.
And then I just want to be like, well, am I 12.5% tired right now because it's an eighth of my day? Am I going to be able to do the rest of it? I think it was just a lot of fun being able to do it. The hardest thing physically, I think, wasn't the days I thought were going to be the hardest weren't the hardest because I was ready for them. It was the day after where you still had to walk 15 miles anyway. So the most beautiful section is it's from Walltown to Once Brewed, which is a village about 15 miles down the road. And it's all just 50 to 60 steps up and down the crags along the wall. It's absolutely gorgeous. You're next to the wall the entire time. And I was like, this is going to be the toughest day. It was the next day when I had to wake up and walk 15 miles again and go play 9 holes of golf.
Much harder.
That was the hardest day.
I got you.
Yeah.
So what was hardest for you? Was it the golf or the walking?
I think it was the golf, and just because I had to relearn golf. Because
That's kind of what I thought you were going to say.
You're pretty broken after 30 miles of walking.
Right.
And I think the hardest part was probably figuring out my clubs and not hitting everything 10 yards short. I got really good with my lob wedge and getting it close from about 30 yards and in. A ton of 1-putts. I felt really, really good about 1-putts, but I felt really, really bad about hitting my 8-iron 135 yards and being I don't have any more. There's nothing left to give.
That's all I got.
Can I just run a flea flicker? Can we make up a new play?
it's technically second, but my third question is, who improved more at their opposite skill? Because cousin Adam is an experienced hiker, trail hiker,
Yeah.
and you are clearly much more experienced at golf. Who improved more, your ability to hike trails, or cousin Adam's ability to play golf?
I think it was fairly even. I think that the thing that I didn't expect was that, so I did the whole walk without any headphones in.
Mm-hmm.
I just did the whole walk listening to what was going on around me, which I think is quite rare these days. I think most people, when they go out for a walk, they've got headphones in, they're listening to a podcast or music or something.
Mm-hmm.
I just trying to be in tune with everything around me, which was probably cool. But I think I proved to myself that I could do a walk like this if I really, really wanted to. I'm not sure that Adam proved himself that he was any better of a golfer. He did
How many strokes
shoot.
do you think he shaved?
So what he's probably a 36 handicap.
Mm-hmm.
And I think without walking, if he keeps his game going, he's going to get down to about a 25 very quickly.
Mm-hmm.
I think he's going to drop. I think he's going to be sort of in like the 95 to 105 range very, very quickly.
And then he can wipe the floor with you in Stableford.
Yeah, I think yes. I think he's actually going to get. I think he's going to probably get into. I think he's going to become a bogey golfer very, very quickly. Just didn't. I think he was finding it so frustrating to just not like. I think because he was so comfortable walking, he thought he would be comfortable playing golf, and it just wasn't the case. And I think that frustration got the better of him a few times.
Even people who are really good at golf are frustrated by golf.
Yes, that's what I keep trying to tell people. All right, what's your last question?
All right, my last question. Would you have been able to make this trip possible? Okay, would you have finished this entire walk without Dan and the Land Rover? Would you have finished? Because I saw the giant stickers on the SUV, and I felt like that pushed everybody to do better.
Yeah,
because it was such prominent advertising for your goal.
Well, I think everybody who knows me knows that I'm a sort of slapstick. Like when people see me walking along Hadrian's Wall with a golf buggy instead of golf clubs.
You do look like one of the Three Stooges.
Like I'm the first person, I'm the first person to play it up.
Yes.
Like if somebody makes a joke, I'm not going to go, oh, well, I'm doing a walk for charity. And if you feel like donating, here's
blah,
a 10.
blah, boring.
And yeah, I'm like, I'm the first person to be like, do you think this is a 5-iron or do you think this is a 6-iron?
Right.
Like, what do you think? You think this is a fade or a draw in? What do you think I should do? Have you seen I think there's a pond over there. Do you think I hit my ball into that? You know, and they're like, people are like, well, you're a mighty long way from a golf course. And I'm just like, well, when you drive it as far as I do. I was like, I drive it really. Have you heard of Bryson DeChambeau? Because I drive it 1,000 times further than he does.
That's right.
7 miles from the closest golf course. I've just lost it. Have you seen a Vice Drive golf ball number 4? Just give me a call.
That's right.
Just email me. Here's the sticker. If you feel like donating, donate. But if you find the golf ball, just let me know. That'd be wonderful.
Just put a little flag down. I'll come hit it.
I have fun playing it up to everybody. Like I have fun telling my story, which is that if it wasn't for me wanting to have better mental health, I wouldn't have started this podcast with you. I wouldn't play as much golf as I do. I wouldn't find solace in the focus and mindfulness and sort of singular task of getting a golf ball closer to the golf hole every time.
Mm-hmm.
And so I think now that golf has sort of helped me, just not even in terms, like, it hasn't helped me financially at all, because it really hasn't. I spend way more money on this podcast and playing golf than I think it'll ever make me.
Mm-hmm.
But I do think that it's given me sort of like, it's enriched my life so much that all I can do really is to help show other people how it can enrich theirs.
Very well said.
So, like, teaming up with the Golf Foundation is easy because I do what they do on a small scale. I take everybody I know who wants to go golfing. I will give them the opportunity to go golfing.
Mm-hmm.
The Land Rover was I feel so bad for Dan's Land Rover because it smells like us. I think he's going to have to set the interior on fire just to get the smell out. But Dan was a huge part of the trip.
Mm.
Dan is the one who motivated us the entire time, congratulated us. He was like, I can't do what you're doing. And I was just like, by being here, you're doing it with us.
He also found your hat.
That was huge.
That was huge.
I left that hat on a post, and like 2 miles later, I was like, I left my hat. And Cousin Adam was like, are you going to get it? And I was like, I can't. My legs don't want to go back that way. I was like, I don't want to do it. So I sent Dan a pin on Google Maps of like where the hat was. And he was like, I guess I'll go get it. No, Dan did about 30 to 40 miles of walking himself just in the golf courses.
No, a big shout out to Dan, because he makes a lot of this behind the scenes. Dan makes a lot of this.
He made it all happen.
That's why we call him Soundman Dan.
Yeah.
He makes a lot of our podcast function.
Yes.
And
he did all the videoing, and he did all of like the data interface stuff.
Mm-hmm.
He did all of it.
We're two very dysfunctional people, and without Dan at the center, we would just be the one time we didn't press record. We never would have even figured out that there was a record option without Dan.
Yes.
So we would have just spent once a week talking in the second person.
Yes.
To the atmosphere, and nobody would hear this without Soundman Dan. And we definitely, for myself and speaking for you, obviously, we definitely love having him as part of the team.
Yeah. It was like, it was beyond motivating to have him and the van and everything. I don't want to make it sound like if it wasn't for seeing his face at the end of the day, I would have never made the walk.
No.
But it was fun sort of doing this thing with my two best friends here in England.
Yeah, it's really cool. I'm really happy that this project allowed us, and you especially, to showcase the bigger picture, not only with the charities, but Cousin Adam and Dan and all the people who put this project together for us on a weekly basis, sometimes a daily basis.
Yeah.
I'm just really impressed. I think you guys did such a great job, and I'm really proud of all three of you for making the journey. And they'll never tell you what the money was spent on, but somebody in hospice care is going to get something that they need, and a child is going to fall in love with the game of golf because of the three of you and the things that you did. So, from all of us here at the Swingdom, we congratulate you. And we're really proud of you. I know I texted you a few times how proud I was of you, but I really am. Community service is kind of my what I hang my hat on, and I really happy to see
it was so much fun.
We're getting to play a much bigger role in it. So
it was a lot of fun. I think the coolest thing was basically just waking up every day and being like, all I have to do is wake up, walk, and play golf.
Wake up, walk, play golf. That's it. What a life.
It was challenging. It was really, really challenging.
Mm-hmm.
But it was fun. I think at the end of the day, I'm not even like, oh, it was worth it. I'm glad we did everything we got to do for the charities, but it was just fun doing it. It was just so much fun doing it. Like Mug Dad, obligatory Mug Dad. He's just sort of like, how does it feel to be the first person to walk Hadrian's Wall with a set of golf clubs in the 2,000 years it's been there? And I was just sort of like, I was like, I don't know if anybody should ever be congratulated for that. I remember there was one point where we were looking up a set of stairs, and the stairs went up like 100 feet, and there were stone steps. And you know how like stone steps are never even. They're like anywhere from like 6 inches to 18 inches, and they just went straight up. And this lady came out, and she was like, "Oh, you know, there's like an easier way to get around if you want to go around that way." And I was just like, it was like I was 10 miles in on a 15-mile day. And then I was like 12 miles in on a 15-mile day. It was 5 o'clock at night. It was like starting to get dark. And I was just like, no, I'm going to get up this hill. I'm going to get up these stairs. And Cousin Adam was just like, no, we're doing a charity walk. Like, he's a little bit cranky. Like, we're going to do it. I was, I just did the whole thing. I was like, I have to earn this.
Mm-hmm.
Like, if people are donating money, I'm going to do this right and I'm going to earn it.
That's right.
And I felt like I did. And I had a blast doing it. And I cannot wait to go up there and drive to all of those golf courses and play them for real.
That's right. Unrest.
Yes. Yeah.
Very cool. Very cool.
You're doing the read.
All right.
It's time for us to put down our bag and hear from our sponsors.
This is going to be such a long podcast.
It is. Well, we're going to finish up very soon.
Okay.
All right. So big shout out to, again, Ben, Adam, and Dan for their 100 miles, 100 holes challenge. If you'd like to go donate, go to Virgin Money Given 100 miles, 100 holes. Make a donation there. Again, we're going to keep the link up.
Yeah, just go to the Instagram. It's in the bio in the Instagram. It's going to be in all the links in the YouTube. And it's at the top of our website. So the swingdompodcast.com.
Yeah. And if you're having trouble hearing this, please visit Hearing Aid Centers of New Jersey, Beltone Hearing Aid Centers of New Jersey, the Jersey Shore. Ben, please remind me of the phone number because it has been 2 weeks since I have recited this phone number.
It's +1.
Yeah.
732.
888-9000.
Yes, it is.
Thank you. I just needed the area code, actually. 732-888-9000. If you're having trouble hearing, give them a call. Say golf really loud because obviously you can't hear yourself. They'll connect you with a free hearing test, and they'll get you on your way to affordable and top-of-the-line hearing devices, hearing aids, whatever else helps you hear better, they'll help you out. So Beltone Hearing Aid Centers of New Jersey, 732-888-9000, +1 if you are outside of the U.S. And if you're outside of the East Coast of the United States, please make the drive. The drive's pretty, and you'll be in a really cool area. So go donate, top of the page on our website, to 100 miles, 100 holes, and go get yourself a free hearing test with promo code GOLF. Now let's talk real golf, Ben.
Let's do it.
And now to your hosts, Ben Ridner and Gunnar Kane.
Fist bump. There you go. Yeah, so I got limited golf stuff while I was away. Number one, I know we didn't talk about this at all, the Sanderson's Chicken Championship.
Yep. Sergio Garcia wins the Sanderson Farms Open.
Did you see that trophy?
Yeah, it's a chicken.
Is it?
It's terrible.
It's a male chicken. What do you call a male chicken?
Rooster.
What else do you call a male chicken?
Exactly the same thing you call Sergio Garcia. Let's
Nailed it. Yes. Thank you. You used to be like, that's one holding another one.
I can't tell whose trophy's whose.
I think, was that just like the joke going around everywhere for like 4 days?
No, I had nobody who would appreciate it. You were busy doing some sort of walk or whatever, so it was kind of tough.
As soon as I saw it, I was like, which one's bigger?
That's right. Let's see. what questions do you have for me for the golf?
So
The KP
that was really number one. So like everybody is saying that Sergio Garcia's career is now going to be lengthened because he's won this. Yes, he gets 2 years of exemption.
Yeah.
Does it give him any real credibility?
No.
Okay. That was like my question is like Sergio Garcia wins an like a preseason event.
Yeah.
Does it like
It's the first win since the Masters,
2017, so it's been 3 years.
What are you going to do?
Yeah.
Si Young Kim wins the Women's PGA Championship, her first major and her 16th LPGA Tour victory.
Yeah. People have been expecting her to win a major for a while.
Yeah. Yeah.
I watched a bit of this. It was hard to watch because our favorite Canadian female golfer struggled.
I know.
She struggled. Yeah.
Brooke Henderson has a place in my heart forever. And she
won this event before, so it wasn't like impossible for her to. She just had a really hard time on this one.
Right. She's a winner in my book.
Mhm.
The SAS Championship, PGA Tour champions. Jim Furyk going out for his attempting his fourth win in 4 starts.
Yeah.
Gets outdone by Ernie Els.
Yeah.
This is the top 3. The top 3 is beautiful, and this is just a real good PGA Tour callback. Ernie Els, Colin Montgomery, Vijay Singh.
Yeah.
That's golf. You know what I'm saying? If you're
the thing is now that I live in England, everybody's just like Colin Montgomery is not a very nice guy.
Sure, it doesn't matter to me.
Okay, yeah, no, it's quintessential golf. I always like if you don't see Bernard Langer in the top 5, I'm like, what kind of event was this? What's happening here?
No, but I kind of have this sense that Jim Furyk might be the new Bernard Langer.
Okay. I could see that. I see him having like crazy longevity.
Yeah. Currently, Matthew Wolff is in 3rd place at the Shriners Hospital for Children's Open.
You scared me. I just looked at it and I was like, he's not in 1st place.
No, Martin Laird has a 1-stroke lead. He's through 14. That'll finish up in an hour or so.
Yeah, we didn't make any picks. So sorry about that.
No, we did not make picks. I'm really bummed because I did not pick Sergio Garcia, nor would I have.
No.
But
I might have, just for fun, just to make everybody mad.
I am looking up. Ask me what else you need, because there's one big story, and I want to get all the names right.
Okay, so two more questions. One is, what's up with the hoodie? Why is that a thing? We kind of discussed that. It's not. I think it's just one of those things that sort of gave Tyrrell Hatton a lot more sort of thunder to go out with this week because I know he's like a very angry player anyway.
Mm-hmm.
So if people are going to be like, why are you playing with a hoodie? He's like, this is why, because I'm going to crush it. And then the next thing was word is something about Phil Mickelson making another Champions Tour show preview debut.
Well, I hope so.
That's the last thing I read on somewhere else. Oh no, this is the big thing. This is my big question. What is up with Matthew Fitzpatrick?
Fitzpatrick is saying that.
I read somewhere that the quote was taken out of context. Brandel Chambly's jumping on board. Like, it just seems to be the biggest story this week.
Yeah, I mean, he's saying that Bryson DeChambeau is making a mockery of the game and blah, 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 blah. Terrible, terrible, terrible.
He's the new Charles Barkley?
It's terrible. It's terrible, Shaq. What are you going to do? He is making a mockery of the game, but you know what that means? The game should either leave Bryson DeChambeau alone or make the adjustments. What do you want from me? Look, I'm not a Bryson DeChambeau sympathizer. I think I've made my point very clear on that.
Neither of us are.
But he's not cheating. And he's
Yet.
trying really, you know, the old saying, if you ain't cheating, you ain't trying.
Yeah. Yep.
Bryson DeChambeau doesn't even need to cheat. He just tries way harder than most of the cheaters out there.
I feel like everybody else has like a swing coach.
Uh-huh.
And Bryson DeChambeau just has like a contract lawyer reading the rules of the game and being like, this is a hole you can exploit. This is another hole you can exploit. If you look over here, this is an entire thing they've missed when it comes to working out in distance. And have fun. Go out there and do some stuff. I know we were loud wrong on him winning the PGA.
So loud.
Yeah, we were loud wrong on that. He's just like he's just going to be the favorite until something happens. This is the thing. Is like you can do it with a bit of humbleness and like I think the difference is like you have LeBron James, right? Who's like the biggest guy out there and changed the game because he's like a small forward / power forward playing point guard.
That's true.
Like basketball, right? Like he, you know what I mean? Like he sort of changed the game. And then you had Steph Curry like 10 years later, just be like a 6'1" guy who can shoot it from anywhere. And they figured out statistically that if you're making 50% of your 3-pointers, it's better for you than making
points. Yeah.
It's better for you than if you're making 75% of your 2-pointers.
Absolutely.
Or it's the same, but it's harder to make whatever the other thing. So like my sort of question with Bryson is like, is he going to do this in a way in which people are going to appreciate him and he's going to change the game? No. Or is he going to become sort of like a villain of okay. Is he the villain already?
Yeah. Okay. Of course he is. As a matter of fact, he's so much the villain that nobody even cares about Patrick Reed. And Patrick Reed's the ultimate villain in golf. And
because he actually cheats.
He actually cheats.
We've seen him cheat a few times.
You know, and I've never known Matthew Fitzpatrick at all, but I've never known him to be somebody who attacks others. So I'm sure it was taken out of context. What really doesn't help, though, is yesterday Bryson DeChambeau has an intense stare down with a cameraman because he double bogeys hole 2. And is Bryson DeChambeau, in a nutshell, give me all the accolades when I play well and leave me alone if I'm not. And there's no in between for him, and that's why I can't sympathize with the guy. Whatever. You know, what are you going to do? Golf is golf, and everybody's a character, and that's fine. I like that.
Yeah.
And we're just going to sit back and watch what Bryson DeChambeau does to the game that we love, and it's going to be for better or for worse, and we're all in for it. What I would like to do, though, is end our golf on a positive note.
Okay.
I want to move to NCAA college golf and the University of Kentucky, where Alex Goff, Goff, not golf, but close. Alex Goff wins the Blessings Collegiate Invitational in Fayetteville, Arkansas. Goff's best friend, or one of his close friends and teammates, was Cullen Brown at the age of 20, succumbed to cancer.
Yes.
Alex Goff and the NCAA went back and forth. His
nickname was HaHa?
Possibly.
What was his? Was it Colin Brown?
Cullen Brown. Alex Goff and the NCAA and the University of Kentucky went back and forth and all together and worked out where Alex Goff could carry his friend's bag at Blessings, because this is the most recent tournament since his passing, and Alex won it and got to win with his buddy on his shoulder, or probably on his cart, but he got to win with his friend's bag. And that's a real feel-good story for the University of Kentucky, for Alex Goff, for Cullen Brown's family, and for NCAA golf in general. And our our hearts go out to the Brown family and to the University of Kentucky, who lost a player, lost a friend, lost a brother, and much love to Alex Goff for pulling it all together, and blessings indeed on his win at the Blessings Collegiate Invitational.
Yeah.
Hope to
No,
see
I
him
did.
on-
I did hear about. I think I mentioned this summer, when he did pass away, because he was such a big like character at the University of Kentucky. Everybody loved this kid. He just brought a smile to everybody's face. He actually made the cut at the Barbasol Championship.
Oh, very nice.
Yeah. So it's damn shame.
Mm-hmm.
But that's really nice of Goff to be, bringing some recognition to, one of his good friends.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no, very cool. Well, do you have anything for what you're doing in golf? Or are you taking a break? I know I've left you alone for the past few days, and because I figured you were gonna sleep.
I did.
I was like-
I've been sleeping loads.
I do-
Like my
for
body
every-
has just been repairing.
For everybody on the YouTube, I do this number where I pull my phone. This is my phone. I pull my phone out and go, I should be asleep. I'm gonna put this down.
Yeah.
Like I'm gonna leave him alone.
Yeah. Well, my
Then
phone,
you-
like after 5 o'clock, I'm usually your time. At 10 o'clock my time, I'm usually
Mm-hmm.
close to being asleep. Yeah, I think I'm gonna go play fun golf in a buggy on Wednesday.
Good.
I feel like I've earned that.
Yes.
I'm gonna go rent a buggy and play buggy golf. But other than that, I start editing tomorrow. I'm gonna try to get out. We got to the Trafford Center where Matt Fryer teaches, and they had 36 holes of dinosaur putt, and the dinosaurs moved,
Really?
and there was a volcano,
Oh,
and
that's
there were
my kind of golf.
actual water hazards. And so
I'm really excited to see that video
we
because
videoed the team playing
we've
18
seen a
holes
lot
of
of the images.
Dino Falls golf. But all the videos are coming out. I'm debating what format to do these videos in. So we may do an Instagram poll. Like, should I do sort of the 10 to 20 minute long individual episodes? I'm thinking about doing like a 40-minute or even like an hour and a half long like special. I may try to send to like documentary film specials.
Yeah.
Talk
Yeah,
to
you should do that.
Tony Kornheiser and have you heard back from Michael Kornheiser yet?
I have not. I heard they were busy though, because speaking of the Golf Foundation, they lost one of the chair people of the local First Tee program.
Yeah.
A friend of the show and a close friend of the Kornheisers, and they've had a week-long put together of kind of a charity event. As a matter of fact, Gavin's played at the First Tee of Greater Richmond, where they held the event at.
Why didn't you go to the event?
That's very cool. Well, I didn't know it was there. We're not part of the First Tee, but I believe we are going to attempt to start working a little bit closely with them, because they're more spread out now.
Yeah.
That and PGA Junior League, I think we're gonna reach out to and see if we can't do a little
be
something
awesome.
something with them.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's going to be on the team next year.
I think the thing I'm
Junior
most excited to be back and doing the podcast again. So I'm already planning for Wednesday's pod.
Yeah.
I'm
No,
ready.
this is great. It's great to have you back.
I'm gonna make some picks for a tournament I don't even know the name of yet.
That's right. Just Sergio Garcia.
No. Nope, not doing it. Gunnar, thank you for doing the show. Sunday
Thanks for
Night Show.
having me.
Do we know who's won yet? Should we actually say who's won this tournament?
As of right now, through it's loading through 15 holes, Matthew Laird is ahead by 1 stroke.
Wow, it's Martin Laird.
24 under par. It's Martin Laird.
And he's ahead by 2.
Martin Laird. Matthew, you're right. No, he's not. He's ahead by 1.
No, I've got
I have it right
through
here.
I've got through 15. He's at minus 24.
15. Uh-huh. Yeah. Austin Cook is at 23 under.
Oh, I've got him at through 16. He's at 22 under.
No, he birdied 17.
Did he?
Get with it, Ben.
Why are they
he just
lying
birdied
to me?
17, par 3.
What?
Matthew Wolf is 1 stroke behind. 3 eagles for Matthew Wolf yesterday. Very impressive.
That's the dream. I chipped in twice playing Centurion.
Yeah.
That was
when you for bogey.
Chipped in once for birdie. And I chipped in once for bogey on a par 3. I lost the first ball, so I was 3 off the tee. And then I chipped in for bogey.
That's very cool.
I still have it's telling me the wrong thing.
Sorry, I got the PGA Tour app right here.
Well, let me pull it. I'm looking at Golf Channel. They're,
Bryson DeChambeau is not going to win this. So,
well, there goes my pick.
All right. Well, go check out the Swingdom on Instagram, on Twitter, and on the Facebook. If you're on Instagram, please hit the link in the bio to donate 100 miles, 100 holes. Check us out on YouTube. Ben does a great job. And like you said, he's going to be putting out a ton of video from the walk. Big shout out to Bovey Tracy Golf Center, who really outfitted you guys. I love that video. And my heart started racing a bit from all the love that they showed you. So,
right? So cool.
Tell them I'm available if they need to, if they have more stuff to hand out, and I'll send.
We'll mail you some.
Yeah, just mail me a box
I mean, to be fair, I've got to thank everybody, right? Tom at Bovey Tracy Golf Center has been amazing. Mike at the Polk Arms helped us out hugely. JR at Beltone Hearing Aid Centers, he sent some sponsorship money I've yet to find, so I've got to find that. Vice Golf Balls hooked us up. We're going to actually be giving away some of our logoed Vice Golf Balls when we get closer to 2,000 followers, or I may save it for 2,500 followers on Instagram, 200 followers on the YouTube. And I just want to thank everybody out there who's given anything. And if you can find it in your heart and soul, please give them a bit more. We're trying to help people who have loved ones who aren't in the best of health, and we're trying to help kids who may not get the opportunity to play a sport we love to play that sport. So thank you for everything you've done. Thank you for everything you're doing. And thank you for listening.
Yeah. Thank you guys.
Right. Thank you, Gunnar.
Thank you, Ben. Swinged them out.
Swinged them out.
You've been listening to The Swingdom. Remember, we're just 2 guys, 28 clubs, 0 putts given.
I'm not sure my feet will ever be the same again.
Please don't tell me about it anymore.
I won't tell you. I'll just send you more pictures.